If you asked Razor how he was doing, the standard response was, better than you, Chico.
Hey, yo, you know who we are, but what you don't know is what we're gonna say. Welcome to another episode of Off the Ropes with John and Josh. As always, I'm John, and joined with me today is my brother, my best friend, and my tag team partner, Josh. Now, Josh, we have a very special episode of Off the Ropes today. It is a tribute to none other than the legendary Scott Hall, who recently passed away.
Yeah.
Now, tell me, first thoughts about hearing the news Scott Hall had passed away.
Dude, I was devastated. Like when we found out that he had been hospitalized and was kind of clinging to life, that was tough enough, but there was still a little bit of hope. And then like the next day, it was just like he just didn't make it,
Yeah.
You've been a wrestling fan a lot longer than me. You probably experienced him a bit more than me, especially during his WCW days. But he was a big part of my early wrestling, fandom, and so
As Razor, I'm guessing.
Yeah, as Razor. And then when you introduced me to like more of the NWO stuff, it hit hard, man. It really did.
It's definitely going to be a loss for the wrestling business. Like, yeah. I know he wasn't active anymore, and like he did like guest appearances here and there, but his wrestling is inspirational to so many people. Damian Priest has said that a lot of his like stuff is tribute to like Razor, Shawn. There's not many guys in the business who can't say they haven't at least lived the NWO era.
Yeah.
I mean, unless they're these new young guys who probably don't even remember what the NWO was because they weren't alive.
Yeah, I mean, just think about how many wrestlers were probably just inspired by not just that time period, but him and the NWO or him as Razor Ramon, just in general, inspired by him. It's insane.
I can't hear the words "Hey yo" without thinking Razor. Like, that's people could just be on the street and be like, "Hey yo," and I'm like, "Hey yo."
Yeah, buddy.
There were so many great moments of his that like just stand out. Before we talk about some of that, I want to read something that I found from it's the Irish Wrestling Entertainment. I thought this was really sweet. I read this to you the other day.
Yeah.
Forgive me, I'm going to read it from my phone because I don't want to paraphrase. It says, he formed the clique which inspired a club. He revolutionized the ladder, that diamond stud. Outsider to Razor, his name is Scott Hall, the original bad guy, machismo and all. Bad times are over. Dreams came true. Scott will live forever because bad guys do. Which part of that obviously inspired by his Hall of Fame speech.
Yeah.
Which I recently found out. I was watching some behind the scenes of people, and I found this guy who helped write Scott Hall's Hall of Fame speech.
Oh.
And apparently the first thing out of Scott Hall's mouth was, people talk too much. He's like, they get up there, they talk for like 10, 15 minutes. He's like, he's like, they go on, they try to grasp onto that spotlight one more time. He goes, I want to get up there, I want to say my piece, I want to get off.
Dude, I rewatched his Hall of Fame speech today, and it's like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
It's real short. I was like, I was surprised. I was like, is this only like a part of it? Like, what's going on here? But no,
I mean, the ending, when he passed away, so many people posted the ending of his speech.
Yeah.
Dreams come true. Or it's hard work pays off. Dreams come true. Bad times don't last, but bad guys do. And I can't tell you how many times I've heard that since Saturday.
Yeah.
Or it was Sunday. No, it was Monday. He passed away Monday. And I can't tell you how many times I've heard it all week.
Yeah.
But true words have never been spoken. I mean, Scott Hall is a testament that you can pretty much overcome anything.
Oh, yeah, man.
I mean, he overcame a serious alcohol and drug problem, and he cleaned himself back up, with the help of DDP. He was, back in the good graces of the WWE. He's a 2-time Hall of Famer, people.
That's right. Yeah, I mean, to be able to, to have, like you said, the drugs and the alcohol problems, he wound up with epilepsy because of the alcohol. He had a pacemaker, like a lot of shit happened to him. He had not an easy life, and to be able to kind of come back from all that is very inspiring.
I mean, it really is. So you said that he was early childhood memories, like as of like Razor in the WWF. Are there any of like his matches that like you can remember that like stood out for you?
I mean, I feel like a lot of his like normal televised ones kind of fade away, but the pay-per-view ones are the ones that you remember. Those ladder matches. I mean, I rewatched both the WrestleMania one and the SummerSlam one, and just they're incredible.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the SummerSlam one is not, or the WrestleMania one was. The WrestleMania one's the one that people talk about more, but the SummerSlam one was. I mean, it's a great match.
It is. Yeah. It's fantastic. Unfortunately, he did not win that one, but it's fantastic. Nonetheless.
I mean, it happens.
Yeah.
What happens when your best friends are pulling politics?
It's true. It's true. What do you think is the better match between the two?
Honestly, I've always liked WrestleMania better.
Okay.
I've always thought personally that ladder match was superior to SummerSlam.
Yeah.
Not just because of the outcome, but I mean there was different bumps in that one, and the shot of Michaels riding the ladder down was always one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, man, that had to hurt both people.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely, man. Absolutely.
Now, being a former backyard wrestler, did any of Scott Hall's shit ever carry over for you?
I don't think move wise, really. I think more attitude wise.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Do
you mean when you wore the bandana and became Chulo Mac?
Just like the confidence. Because like I'm kind of a quiet, shy person normally in my normal life.
Absolutely.
But when I stepped into the ring, it was completely different, and it's guys like him that kind of got me to that point.
Oh,
showed me that this is a thing you could do. You
were a light switch when it came to wrestling.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and people who don't know Josh personally, he is a very quiet individual, but the moment that he had like his gear on and the moment we would step out there and like the match would start, the show would start, there was like this light switch that flipped and Josh became a totally different person.
Yeah.
Me, I was the everything WWE.
You were like Ric Flair. You lived the gimmick, right? Think about it.
I still live the gimmick. I don't go flashing my penis at people like Space Mountain is close. I
mean, there have been a few times you've done a little run around the neighborhood naked.
Fair. Now because I can say the opposite. You had the attitude for Scott Hall. I had the look for Scott Hall when I was doing some of my Johnny Storm stuff, like with the jeans and the cutoff.
Yeah,
but
you've used that in other places too.
I have. But the major thing, like for me, was like I used a couple of like Hall's like things. I did the paintbrush. There was a couple of other things that I would do here and there. Could never hit the Razor's Edge though.
One of you did. It was either you or Adam did it. Onto me, like to me, with me.
The paintbrush? That was me.
No, the Razor's Edge. It must have been Adam if you did.
No, I did it once during practice, but it didn't feel comfortable.
Oh, okay. I was like I remember somebody doing it.
It's when we were trying out to see what we could like comfortably do and not kill each other, and the Razor's Edge just wasn't it for me.
I was like, I remember somebody doing that to me.
Yeah. So okay. So we're gonna talk like, and this like usually we have like off the ropes kind of like planned out with some bullet points. This one's really just off the cuff. We're gonna throw a bunch of shit around. We're probably gonna dance a lot with this, but Josh, tell me one of your favorite Scott Hall memories of all time.
Ooh, favorite Scott Hall memories. Okay, I think mine is a moment that I did not see live.
Okay.
But when I saw it, I was like, that's something special. And it's the first time he came out at WCW.
I remember that night.
Yeah.
I was watching WCW the night he came out.
Yeah.
And I was like, whoa. And I remember him getting the mic and doing the infamous, you know who I am, but what you don't know is why I'm here.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, man.
Just that specific, that line, that moment. The way he delivers it, dude, it hits, man.
Well, it's funny because he debuted, and then it was either a week or two later, Nash came in, and Nash butchered his line on accident, and now it's one of the most infamous like Botchamania lines ever. It's Kevin Nash talking to Eric Bischoff, and he's like, "This is where the big boys play. Look at the adjective in that line. We're not here to play." First off, play isn't an adjective; it's a verb.
That's true.
So there's where the botch
was an adjective, it's a descriptor. It's good
exactly.
Descriptor word, Kevin Nash.
So I mean, it was one of those famous like little slip of the tongue moments.
Yeah.
But Hall and Nash doing what they did at the time changed the business drastically.
Oh yeah.
Like and then you know now having the light shine on it where we do nowadays as opposed to back in the day. Knowing that Sting could have been the original third man to the NWO and not Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
That could have changed the business even further.
Speaking of Sting, I was watching something and it was talking about how because back then, you know, the Click had this big amount of pull or whatever, you know, all these guys. And when he was over in WCW, apparently Scott Hall specifically was a big part of making Sting what he became, the crow gimmick and everything like that. And I didn't know that until literally today when I was watching this thing about it. And I thought that was fascinating.
Yeah. It's really weird to like, because I went back and I watched like a lot of like older stuff. Like I've been watching a lot of stuff with like Diamond Dallas Page. And Page was talking about like back in the day when he was still just a manager and he was managing this guy called the Diamond Stud. Yeah. And I was like, who the fuck is that? And then I saw him and I'm like, that's a fucking beefed up version of Scott Hall. I'm like, I wonder who the fuck that guy is. So I Google searched it. It was Scott Hall. And I'm like, holy shit. Like he was more thick. He was ripped. I'm like, damn.
Yeah, okay. that was early time too.
Yeah. And then like it wasn't much after that they told Daly he was too big to be a manager because he was taking like the way he like looked and the way he talked, he was taking too much focus off the wrestlers, and they told him either he had to figure out something different or be gone. So Daly put on a pair of tights, and I mean he was already trained and everything, so it wasn't a big jump for him. Yeah,
that's pretty sweet.
But I mean, think about like so many great things.
So let me ask you real quick. You asked me this question, but I don't think you answered it yourself. What was your earliest memory of Scott Hall?
So I can remember because I was still kind of flip-flopping between both WCW and WWE. Yeah. Well, WWF at the time. But I can remember the
now vignette. I'm gonna have to bleep out the F.
I can remember them running his coming to WWE promos where like this is Razor Ramon and he's coming to the WWF. And there was this one where he's at a diner and the guy comes over and he puts a bill on the table and he's like, "What's this?" And he's like, the guy's like, "It's your bill." And he's like, "You expect me to pay for my meal?" He's like, what you want me to do next? Bust your table? Wash some dishes? He's like, "Here, I'll clear the table for you." And he's just like, wham! And I'm like, ain't nobody better than Razor to do that shit. And I went back and was watching a few of like the vignettes again, and I was just like, he really had that personality that fit that gimmick so well.
Yeah.
Like I can't really look back at that time and think, man, that person could have been Razor Ramon. Besides Scott Hall, and they tried.
Yeah.
They tried.
Yeah, I love that he was inspired by Tony Montana from Scarface. I think that's hilarious to me.
Say hello to my little friend.
I love that. It's
I mean, there isn't a wrestling person out there who can't say they haven't at least one time mocked Scott Hall's accent.
Yeah.
I mean, you figure
Chico.
There are thousands of times where like I'll have been in gimmick or something and just been like, "Cervezas."
Yeah. Oh yeah.
More for the bad guy.
Absolutely, man. All the time.
One of my favorite memories of Scott Hall, though, do you remember the night when we were watching TNA and Scott Hall came out and Kevin Nash had like the shorter haircut at the time? I think it was Main Event Mafia, possibly. And Hall gets in the ring. He's like, "I guess I didn't get the memo that we weren't dyeing our hair anymore."
Or was it that, or was it when they were the band?
No, it was post-band.
Okay.
Or before, I don't know. It was definitely like Hall wasn't wrestling at the time.
Okay.
But like Hall needed or Nash needed.
But I do remember that moment. Yes,
dude, it was just so funny because he's just like, "Oh, I guess I didn't get the memo that we're not dyeing our hair." And I'm like, man. Or do you remember the night? I know we didn't watch this one live, but we watched the pay-per-view on DVD, and it was supposed to be Samoa Joe tag teaming with Hall and Nash, and then Hall no-showed the show, and they gave like Joe the mic. And he's like leaning on the ropes and he's like shit talking Hall. And he's like, "What are you going to do? Fire me?"
I do remember that, man. Now I got to go back and watch that. So many things, so many moments, matches that you could go back and rewatch from his career. And so much good stuff. It's insane. Yeah, he has such an incredible career.
Because you said specifically, like you started like with him when he was Razor. I started with him when he was Razor. Mm-hmm. Sadly, I didn't watch a lot of WWF when I was a kid. I got out of wrestling. Well, I didn't get out of wrestling, but I stopped paying attention to wrestling until really my WCW days.
Yeah.
And again, I love the Click. I love Scott Hall. I'm a big NWO guy. Like still to this day, I love the NWO. So let me ask you this. If you could take Scott Hall in his prime NWO days and put him up against anybody from their prime in any other timeline, who would you put Scott Hall up against?
Oh, shit, man. That's tough.
Because think about this one. He was getting out of the business in the WWF, or WWE anyway, in early 2002. That was when the NWO, like he was coming out of the NWO, as we learned from the plane ride to hell incident.
Yeah.
So he missed the guys like John Cena and like Batista's.
True. Yeah.
I mean, he did get to fight Stone Cold and The Rock, so
let's see. Maybe like an Orton.
I can see a good match with him and Orton.
I think that could be a good one. Yeah. There's a lot of good and then there's ones that I'm like, well, did they wrestle in WCW? I don't know.
Like who? Like
Eddie Guerrero?
Nope. I don't believe it. I mean, he might have fought Eddie, but you figure that would have been a very early incarnation of Eddie.
I would have loved to have seen him. I think that would have been a damn good one. Both of them in their prime.
Yeah. And so that's what I'm saying, like in their prime.
Yeah.
Like think like 2011, 2012 James Storm.
Oh,
TNA World Champion James Storm.
Yeah.
and Scott Hall.
Yeah, man.
Think
Yeah, there's a lot of great matches that could have came out.
Here's an even better one, because I know this match happened in both of their early days, like Razor Ramon versus like this guy then.
Okay.
But think of this version in his prime, Scott Hall. I'm talking like prime NWO. Hey Yo versus the 2007 jacked up, really in shape Triple H.
Dude,
By that point, Hunter had been on his game. He was like the master of he was the master of the business.
Yeah.
He's a multi-time world champion. Boom. That match would have been fucking.
That would have been fire, man. I like that. I like
now,
that. That's a good one.
I feel bad because I said something there, and I realized that's something that we should also point out. Scott Hall never in his life won the heavyweight championship in WWE or WCW.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he wasn't a TNA champion either. But like, how shitty is that?
Yeah. I mean, it's funny because that's the whole reason why he left the WWF.
Yeah.
Because Vince only saw him as a mid-carder. And he told him that. You know, he went to Vince. He wanted to know what kind of ways, you know, there would be for him to be able to up his status in the company. And Vince essentially just told him, I like, you know, where you are is where I want you to be.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's fucked up. And then he moves on and still never gets there. It's like,
I mean, think about this though. He might not have never got there. Like, he might not have been like the guy, but he was way more over in WCW.
Yeah, that is true. That is true.
I mean, again, there was like, especially once the division in the NWO happened, where like you had the black and white and the black and red, and he's doing surveys.
Yeah.
And like, I was watching one the other day where he literally questions about all three. Apparently Wolfpack was like 3 weeks in at this point, and he's like, because commentary says like, oh, Wolfpack's only been here for a few weeks, but so he's like, you guys here to see WCW? And like the crowd's like, like they didn't really answer. He's like, or are you here to see the NWO? And like they laid up a little bit. He's like, or are you here to see that renegade band of misfits they call the Wolfpack? And like the place just fucking lit up.
Yeah.
I was like, damn.
Yeah, I saw. Like, I watched that clip as well. Yeah,
he's just like, one more for the good guys.
Good guys. Yeah.
I'm like, first off,
commentary is like, I don't think he knows which side he's on.
Yes, that is the exact clip because they do say that.
Yeah,
like, I don't think he knows. But see, and then like that's the thing though too. Like, he obviously was an honorary guy. Like, he was wearing black and red in the NWO before the Wolfpack started.
That's true. So, yeah, I mean, that was literally part of his gear. Like, even when he went over to TNA, that was his gear. See, I think I might have a picture of that somewhere.
I know it was in your opening montage.
Yeah, I don't know where it went, but yeah, it was definitely up in there of him in the red and black.
Which, by the way, Josh's amazing tribute as always. That opening montage put together all by Josh himself.
Thank you.
I did nothing to help him out, like always.
That's cool.
But I did do something for the show. I wrote my own little tribute to Scott Hall. So if you don't mind, I'm also going to again read this from my phone because I wasn't smart enough to memorize everything I was writing.
I wouldn't have done that. I wouldn't have done that either.
There's always debate about who's the greatest of all time. Debate about who's the best of all time. But there's a topic that there is no debate about. And that's who's the coolest wrestler of all time. That is Scott Hall, Chico. No one will ever be as cool as Scott Hall. Indeed, the coolest wrestler of all time, then no one can top that. And I mean, I'm pretty sure that's pretty true. From his amazing entrance music as Razor Ramon to the way he walked onto the ring, the way he looked, the way he posed, the way he talked, and commended a room while he did so. He was the flyest dude in the room. No matter who he was in the room with him, Scott Hall He's still the coolest wrestler of all time. And that even beats Carlito.
Nice.
I know it wasn't anything like too big, but like
I like that though.
Like I said,
I like that a lot.
I feel like because I mean he's a 2-time Hall of Famer. Like he's in there as Razor, he's in there as Scott Hall and a member of the NWO.
Yep.
He's a core member of the NWO at that.
2014, I believe, was Razor Ramon.
Yes.
And what was it? 20?
I think it was like 2020.
2020, I think, for the NWO. Yeah.
Oh man. Like there's nothing that we can really talk about that isn't already been said or covered other places. But Scott Hall is like true fucking legend in the business.
No, absolutely.
Like his loss,
four-time Intercontinental Champion, for crying out loud. I mean, come on.
Is that the only statistic you have?
No, hold on. I can get more. Let's see. Let me see. Hold on.
I gotta bust his balls while we're doing this. I mean,
WCW World Television Championship.
How many times?
Just one.
Oh.
WCW United States Heavyweight Championship 2 times.
There you go.
7-time WCW World Tag Team Championship. 6 of them with Kevin Nash.
I was gonna say.
And who's the other one, John?
Oh, hold on! Don't tell me! Was it Luger? No, it was the Giant.
Yes, it was.
Damn!
Yes, it was. And then a 1-time TNA World Tag Team Champion. Do you know who?
Eric Young.
Yeah. I mean, it says with Kevin Nash and Eric Young, so I'm not honestly sure how that worked, but yeah, sure. I don't know if it was a Freebird style type of thing, but
probably
because they did that. I know they did that a lot over there.
You surprised I knew that one?
No, actually, because you always anytime I talk about TNA or now Impact, I have stopped being surprised when you just randomly know stuff about it, because I used to be very surprised, and it just kept happening. So I'm not surprised anymore.
You're like, he was a 1-time tag team champion. Name that guy. I'm like, Eric Young. You're like, motherfucker, I'm done.
It's true. Let's see. He also apparently won World War III in '97.
Ooh.
And
that's
the 2-time
still a match I think they should bring back.
Absolutely. And a 2-time Slammy Award winner.
What?
Once in '94 for most spectacular match for the WrestleMania 10 match. And then match of the year in '96 for him and Shawn at SummerSlam. Yeah. There you go.
I mean, I said that match with Michaels at Mania, man. That's a great match.
Interesting stats about Mr. Scott Hall. Wish I had some more interest. Ooh, he was on an episode of the Jerry Springer Show.
Oh man.
As Razor Ramon. Just saying, man. That's yeah. There you go.
Fair enough.
Put that in your pipe and smoke it.
So okay. Besides because I'll allow you to play this here, but I'm going to ask this first.
Okay.
Have you ever done a tribute to Scott Hall?
Have I ever done a tribute? I think I've thrown a toothpick before, but I don't know if I'd necessarily call that a tribute.
No.
But you definitely have, and we got some footage, folks.
Yeah, this is from the original Off the Ropes.
This is from 10 years ago, 2012. Our original incarnation of Off the Ropes. It was like, what, episode 3 or 4?
Episode 9?
Was it 9? Okay. Oh, no, I think it was like part 3 or 4 of Attitude Era.
We were talking about the Attitude Era.
Yeah. So, I'm going to play this little clip for you.
Hopefully you guys enjoy this because it's cringy.
Here it is.
So what's with the get-up, sir?
Well, this is my throwback to former Intercontinental Champion, member of the NWO, Scott Hall.
Very nice, very nice.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
There it is, folks. You know what? Let's watch that again.
So what's with the get-up, sir?
Well, this is my throwback to former Intercontinental Champion, member of the NWO, Scott Hall.
Very nice, very nice.
Thank you.
All right.
I'm missing so many tattoos.
That's true too, man. You could have done so much more with that. You could have like called yourself the bad guy. You could have done a little thing. You could have done so much with that.
I mean, again, early days.
We didn't plan nearly as much when it came to that stuff.
Nope.
No, we did not. We planned too much on the things we were going to say, like inside.
Oh, you mean the history lessons we were going to give people?
Oh yeah, I mean, that's what we were doing. I don't know. Don't. I'm wrong that direction. That guy. I'm used to pointing this way.
So, I mean, what else is there to say when you talk about Scott Hall?
Well, I have a little tidbit here that you sent me, so that I thought was a very interesting fact, and I watched this promo.
I did
thought it was
too.
really cool.
I thought it was actually really good.
Fun fact, folks: Razor Ramon was on the very first episode of Monday Night Raw and was interviewed by none other than Vince McMahon himself, making it the very first segment in Raw history. It's pretty cool. You can go and find it. Just type in Razor Ramon. I think I typed in first Monday Night Raw, and it was like one of the first things that popped up. So, dude, go watch it. If you've never seen it, it's cool. It's really cool. It's weird seeing Vince McMahon interviewing people. You know what I mean?
And not as Mr. McMahon?
Yeah. That was when he was doing commentary and shit back in the day. So it was weird seeing that again. It's been a long time.
Have you seen some of the tributes from the wrestlers this week? Like on Raw, SmackDown, and NXT?
I have not, no.
Kevin Owens threw out a Hey Yo.
Oh, did he?
MSK wore NWO shirts to the ring.
Nice.
Which, honestly, they're two of the ones who I'm like, motherfuckers, you don't even know what the NWO was. you are younger than anything in NWO. Like, no, just
that doesn't mean that they don't know anything about it.
I know. Let's see, who else was there? Oh, Damian Priest, as soon as he came out, pointed up, and then he did the Scott Hall walk down the ramp.
Nice.
Which, I mean, and he did a Razor's Edge during his match.
Yeah.
A lot of people are, because he's always said like Hall was a big influence to him, that there a lot of fans are like, start using that as your finisher.
Yeah. I think that would be more, but I can't really. That'd be pretty awesome. Yeah, I'll have to go back and look at some of those because I didn't know about all those. So.
Yeah, it's pretty badass.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, it's a huge loss for the wrestling industry, man.
Here's my question to you: if you're the WWE, do you try capitalizing on a name like Hall and maybe try to sign his son?
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. You know what I mean? Vince is nothing if not a businessman. You know what I mean? He's about that money.
Because I started thinking about this the other day, and I was like, man, you know, it's about that time where if they wanted to do like a new incarnation of the NWO, like there are some guys in the WWE right now who I would totally use to get it over.
Yeah.
Okay? Hear me out on this. Okay. Who's the one guy on the WWE roster right now who we already know who's pitched the idea and always wears the shirt whenever he's given the opportunity?
I mean, there's been a couple people who have worn the shirt.
Who's the one who gets himself in trouble all the time for it?
Is it Dolph?
It is.
Yeah, because I know Orton used to wear, like, he made his own version. So I was like, I don't think it was him, though. I was like, I think it's Dolph.
So imagine Dolph deciding he wants to, him, Bobby Roode, are going to restart the NWO. And they're going to bring in like a couple guys. I've got two guys right now, one of which is signing Cody, because, you know, you would need Cody Hall. And then you'd have like your three core guys.
Yeah.
And there's a guy on the roster right now who, if he turned heel, would be a perfect person for the entire little stable. Bronson Breakker.
Ooh.
His uncle was in the NWO.
I like it.
Start like a legacy thing, like, you know, you got Hall, you got Breakker.
Yeah.
I'm sure you can find some other guys who would like fit with the NWO. But here's the thing, though. You can't go overboard with it.
Yeah.
You can't just start doing what WWE did and be like, here's a shirt, put it on, you're NWO now.
And have like 20 guys in there.
Well, I mean, at one point, like WCW had like 40.
I know.
It was pretty much like, oh, are you wearing an NWO shirt? No? Oh, okay. Well, here's one anyway. Put it on.
Keep it tight. Kind of. I mean, if you look back, they were kind of trying to do that with with Nexus.
Yes.
You know, that's essentially what they were. They were the new NWO without calling them that.
Pretty much.
And they kept it tight. It was like 7 guys, and that was it. And I think that's probably the way. Keep it small, keep it. A tight clique of people, pun intended.
I mean, the sad part is when it comes to things like the NWO had a very raunchy and raw feel to it. It was something that had never been done in the business before. And it had such a real feel because it was these guys that you had known from another company who were threatening to take over this company that, like, other people were like, what?
And that's the thing. I don't think you could pull off that angle, that invasion angle, today.
No, not with the internet.
Because the fans bought every second of it.
Yeah.
They had no idea that they were no longer working for the WWF.
Yeah.
They had no idea that they were actually WCW guys pretending
like I said,
to be WWF
I remember
guys.
Scott Hall jumping that guardrail.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just like, come on, give me a mic. And I just remember that. Hey,
he's like, where's Billionaire Ted? Where's the Nacho Man?
Oh, yeah, man.
He couldn't even get in the building. You can't
G.
stop me. Yeah. It's like, but you can't stop me. I go where I want.
Yeah.
It's like, fucking A, man.
Like I said, man,
this is the guy.
That first time when he was just like, you know who I am, but what you don't know is why I'm here. It was like chills.
Yeah.
I got goosebumps right now just talking about it. It's like, I remember that fucking so vividly.
Yeah.
And then like you get later into like 96 when the NWO's got like 15 guys and Sting's coming down from the rafters and like it's like, oh my fucking God, like how is Sting gonna defeat all of these guys?
See, all of that stuff, it makes me so bummed that I wasn't super into wrestling in general. I was like a casual viewer of the WWF.
Yeah.
And it bums me out that like I essentially missed the WCW and the ECW at their heyday.
Yeah.
When they were actually on and stuff, and that bums me out.
Well, one of the big things I remember is like he was a controversial player in the ending of the title match that Goldberg lost his streak in too. When he had that taser.
The taser, the cattle prod.
And I was like, oh shit. I was just like, fuck, man.
Yeah, that's what happens when a few have too much power.
True story.
It is what it is, unfortunately.
Now, I mean, like I said, we've talked about everything there is really talk about Scott Hall. I mean,
let me ask you a question because I think I know the answer. I know what my answer is. Do you think, if not for the Attitude Era, do you think there ever would have been an NWO? I don't think there would have. I think the NWO was birthed out of this Attitude Era because
you're slightly backwards on that because the Attitude Era spawned because of the NWO.
Yeah, but they were already heading that direction. Things were already like they were loosening on the types of things that they allowed to have happen.
And they were stopping a lot of the gimmick and starting to go with like, this is who that person is.
Yeah.
I will say this.
So I guess let me rephrase my question. If they hadn't been heading that way, one, do you think there would have been an NWO? And if, let's say, there just was never an NWO, do you think the Attitude Era would have sustained as long as it did?
No. Straight up, no.
To the second question is a no?
To all of it.
Oh, okay.
Because
in other words, you're saying they're intertwined
yes.
and could never be separated.
I think it's two hands watching each other.
Okay.
It's literally, you're right. WWF dropping gimmicks gave WCW that moment where they were like, okay, well, we need to get ahead in the Monday night games. What do we do?
Yeah.
And they had the most brilliant idea. Let's steal some of their fucking workers. Let's get them better money. Let's let them fucking act like they're invading the show. Because at the time, there wasn't an internet really. Like in the internet you had, people weren't doing what they're doing with it today. No. There were no spoilers. There
were probably like a small handful of like message boards for like the diehards.
But I mean, even then though, there wasn't like spoilers like there is today where like, oh my God, CM Punk was seen backstage at, this show. Oh my God, CM Punk is debuting tonight.
Yeah.
Or Jake the Snake seen flying in, or
Yeah.
Sting was seen at the Hall of Fame. Oh, cool for them.
Yeah.
But back in 97s, you might have had people who like were able to predict something, but there's no way you're predicting the NWO.
Yeah, no.
Like, okay,
And like, I think this is a big reason why companies announce kind of right away when they fire somebody.
Yeah.
Because then there's no surprise. They can't just show up at some other company and pretend to be still with the E.
True.
Or what, or whoever, I think that's a big reason why they do that
Here's
now.
a big one that I'll know you'll remember, because you told me I was full of shit in 2002 for this one. We were watching WWF. Well, I think it was still it might have, whatever. We were watching the E in 2002. NWO is running rampant again. Vince McMahon had brought the NWO back. Scott Hall's gone. Kevin Nash is about to introduce a new member to the NWO. Yeah. And I said 2 weeks prior, it was going to be Shawn Michaels. And you told me I was full of shit.
You did.
And you go,
you've always been a great prognosticator in the realm of wrestling.
The business always is just in my blood.
Dude, it is. You can read it like a fucking book.
I always appreciate that. But I remember just being like, it's going to be Michaels. And you're like, no, Michaels isn't. You're like, he's out. He's not ever coming back. And then I remember the night that they introduced it and Nash is in the ring and he's like, there's a new member to the NWO.
He broke his back, right?
Yeah, he had broke his back.
Yeah. And he was out for like fucking a shit ton of years, right?
I think it was like 3 or 4.
Yeah, it was a while.
Yeah. And it was enough to make people like not really think about him. But I was like, Nash isn't going to be introducing a new member like that unless it's going to be somebody big. And like Michaels was the only one at the time that like I thought feasible to be like that guy.
Yeah.
2 dudes with attitude. Part 2.
It's fair. Yeah, it's fair. It's fair. You definitely called it, and it gave some pretty awesome stuff.
Also gave some very racist stuff. Remember the night Booker T got kicked out of the NWO?
I do remember that.
And then I was thinking, crack.
Yes, he did.
You're the problem.
Yeah. So, but yeah, a lot of good stuff came out of the NWO becoming a thing. Vince not seeing the full potential in Scott Hall.
Yeah.
I mean, that might have been the best thing for him, really.
I mean,
because if he had stayed there, he would have just become another mid-level guy.
Wait, what are you talking about?
Gotten buried.
Razor Ramon was still on the WWF. I saw him. There were times where he was on TV at the exact same time Scott Hall was. You can't tell me that wasn't Razor.
2 different guys, man. 2 different guys.
No.
You never saw them in the room together.
And that Diesel, he was still there.
That's right.
Although, funny story. Do you remember
the Diamond Stud too, man? And he had another name before that, and I can't remember what it was. But anyways,
that I don't know.
Yeah.
Do you remember who played the fake Diesel?
Oh shit, who was that? I don't know, and I'm gonna be like, oh damn it,
Kane.
I was thinking Kane. I was like, but no, that wasn't him, was it?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was fake Diesel and Razor Ramon, as I like to call him.
I remember fake Kane.
Yeah, played by Drew Gallows.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's a thing.
It's kind of funny that he went from being the imposter to the imposted.
Yeah.
Imposed?
Oh man, good times. But yeah, a lot of good stuff. If you guys are just looking for, so just type in Scott Hall best moments or something. You're gonna find some good stuff to watch.
Yeah. Also, jump on over to Off the Ropes JJ on all platforms. Let us know your thoughts on the passing of Scott Hall. What some of your favorite memories were. I guarantee you, there's a shit ton that we've left off or out.
Out, off, up, down. It is what it is.
Up, down, left, right, BA, start.
Yes, BA and start. Yes, right there. Follow us right there on that Twitter page.
Twitter,
Off the Ropes JJ.
Patreon, YouTube.
If we get somebody on the Patreon, we'll make some new videos. I actually still have one I haven't posted up there.
That is true.
It's floating around. That
But seriously though, people, I mean, we love hearing from you. We always do. I mean, that's all I've got. You?
Yeah, I think that's everything. So, we have been off the ropes with John and Josh. This has actually been episode number 38. We didn't say that up top, but 30
We did
freaking
not.
8. Great little tribute here to the one, the only Scott Hall, Razor Ramon. Great stuff. And so that's all we got. I guess all that's left to say is we are down for the count.
For the count.
Catch you later, Chico.